is Thursday when I'm filming this. Like, same day that this is going up, Thursday. My Wednesday video is still uploading. This is the third time I've tried. Third time. Today we're going to talk about some TV. These TV episodes I'm going to do on the second Thursday of each month. So once a month on Thursday. I think that'll be better. We'll have more to talk about, or I'll have like more, well, I'll just have more things to talk about. And yeah, I feel like it would, like, they would just get kind of, like, it would just all be the same if I did it every week. Like, there's not, only so much development happens on a show, like every hour, every 30 minutes, like, you know, of the week. So we're gonna do these once a month, second Thursday of every month, starting this month. So we're gonna go over kind of what's been going on in these shows we're watching. We had the finale of Scream Queens on Tuesday, and the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead this past Sunday. I'm sorry, this computer. 75% done, and it's got 1,700 minutes left. I don't know what the hell is going on. So like I've been doing, I think I'm gonna stick with this format if you guys enjoy it, where I kind of just quickly go over each show, like how I feel about how it's progressed so far, and then at the end I kind of pick like a winner, loser, like my favorite moment, and things like that. If you guys have any suggestions on how to make, if you don't enjoy this format and you have a suggestion to make it better, please leave it in the comments down below. I think this is easy so far, so right, so let's start with Ash versus the Evil Dead, or Ash versus Evil Dead, I'm sorry. I have really been enjoying this show so far, and it seems like a lot of you creepy peeps out there have also been enjoying this show. I kind of don't like the fact that it started with an hour-long episode on the series premiere, and then it went to 30-minute episodes, because I just feel like I want the hour-long episode. I want more, and I feel like we'd get so much more out of the show if they were hour long, because you can only move, you can only make the show progress a certain length. I don't know how I'm trying to say this. The 30 minutes is not doing it for me, because I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy the style of the show. I enjoy the humor and all of the craziness that goes on, and I just want more of it. This 30 minutes does not satisfy me. And I feel like the development of the plot is kind of stunted a little bit because of the 30 minutes, because obviously we need to develop like how Ash and his team, now he's like slowly building a team of people helping him pretty much, how they're going to use the Necronomicon to stop the Deadites and all of that. So they have to develop that, so it does have to kind of take the serious route a little bit on occasion when it deals with that, but then you also want the ridiculous amounts of gore and violence in there, and I feel like 30 minutes is just not enough to put those two together. So I feel like we're getting a lot of gore and a lot of hilarious, cheesy one-liners and things like that, and we're not getting so much of the plot development. So I feel like if we just had hour-long episodes, this could all be solved with hour-long episodes pretty much. You can move the story along, and you could get all of our gore and zaniness in there as well. So that's all I gotta say about that. I mean, I think out of all the shows I'm watching, I'm enjoying this one the most so far. Yeah. Moving on, The Walking Dead. Glenn is alive. I knew it. I knew he couldn't be dead. I'm sorry. I know some of you commented down there that that is like, in the show, that's the nature of the world that they're living in, that people are gonna die and we're not gonna have all the characters we love forever. And this is true. This is very, very true. We've lost a lot of characters that I really liked, but that is the way the world works in the format of the show. Or that's the way it is now anyway, who knows. And I did see some stuff online and stuff. I never read the books or the graphic novels that this show stemmed from. I did read that Glenn dies eventually, but I didn't, like, those articles I skimmed because I didn't want anything spoiled if first, you know, if the show does happen to follow along with the comic. There's somebody out there, if anyone has read the graphic novels for The Walking Dead, does it follow the show pretty well, or did the show kind of like take its own route? I'm just curious. I didn't read anything about what happens in the novels. I just know that Glenn does die eventually, but the way they did it in the show or the way that he died in the show is not how he dies in the graphic novel. So if they are gonna follow that, Glenn probably will die, but it wasn't gonna be that way. So some people were kind of like skeptical, like, I don't think he's dead because this is not how it happened in the comics and blah, blah, blah. So I'm happy he's alive, at least for a little while longer. I also kind of figured, like, every time I watched like the episodes in between, like, I was kind of like, you know, anytime a major character dies, like, they do kill major characters. It's just a fact, they do. They always kind of give them their moment, you know, during their death. Like, it's never as kind of like quick and obscure as Glenn's was. Like, that was very mysterious, and I just don't think that they would let him go out like that. Like, if they're gonna kill him off, he's gonna get his moment, you know? That's only fair. Again, not how the world works in the format of the show, but this is still a show, so they're gonna give him his moment if he's gonna go out. I know that much. But yeah, so where the mid-season finale left off is a big old house, like, kind of like literally sitting like on the wall, on one of the ends of the wall in Alexandria, crumbles and topples the wall down, letting in all of the walkers that have been itching to get in since that whole fiasco with the trying to hurt the walkers out at the very beginning of the season. And so when we leave off, Rick and a small group of survivors, I guess we can call them survivors right now because they're in a very desperate situation, are pulling an old trick out of the book. They cover themselves in the guts of a walker so they can safely walk the streets of Alexandria, at least for a little bit, under the camouflage of walker stench. And I really did like that, like, literally the last seconds of the episode. At the very end of the episode, it's like they're all walking like hand in hand, covered in walker guts, like kind of wading through the walkers, and Sam starts to say, like, starts to try and call his mom, which I found interesting. Like, it's almost like it looks like he sees something like out of frame, and then he's like, you kind of, it's like muted in slow-mo almost, but he's like, mom, like you see him like trying to get his mom's attention. I'm interested to see, which is dangerous because they're in the middle of a bunch of walkers, and if they draw attention to themselves, there's they're all dead, really. So I'm interested to see what that was about. And of course, when they leave, I'm like, what did he see? It looked like he saw something to me, or he noticed something. American Horror Story. So I don't know if I'm just over exaggerating here, but I feel like there's a lot of storylines going on in this season. I feel like every season we do get introduced to a lot of characters and a lot of them kind of have the chance to get their own little storylines, we see their backstory and things like that. But normally they kind of, if they're not a major character where, you know, they're kind of featured the entire season, those minor characters, if we get like a little mini arc with them, it gets resolved at some point. I feel like they've taken on so many storylines here and they're trying to like keep them going the entire season. It's to the point where like it doesn't even work in an hour. Like, it's like if they're gonna tackle a certain character, like all these other character storylines get left out. And then when we finally return to them, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened because that was like 3 episodes ago was the last time we saw them. And I'm like, it's just way too many episodes, like not too many episodes, way too many storylines, way too many. I think they took on way too much. And they've developed things so much that I don't know what's gonna happen. Like that whole thing with, oh, what's her face? Wes Bentley's wife, who gets turned into a vampire, and then she saves that kid dying of measles by turning him into a vampire, and then he turns his entire class into vampires, and they're currently like going around just like sucking the blood of all these adults and whatever, and they killed all their parents and all that. Like, how is that gonna be developed? Like, they did that, and then we don't see them again until this most recent episode, which is like 3 episodes later, and you're just like, and when it happened too, I'm like, how is this gonna work out? Like, the whole world is gonna know at some point. Like, I'm just way too much. Way too much. You got that going on. You got the whole thing with the Countess and James March, and you got Wes Bentley's character, John, and you got Sally, and it's just too much. way too much. I think they could have just like shaved some of that down, or maybe, I don't know what they could have done, but it's way too many different stories going on. And I feel like it's just gonna be a mess when they get to the end trying to tie up all of these loose ends, or they just won't, and that's still gonna suck and be awful. It's just so silly. I'm so over this video. We may even just, I'm sorry, I was just like a little interruption in the middle of this. We may just save this Weird Wednesday video until next week if it's gonna be like this. I don't understand what's going on. All right, lastly, Scream Queens. We had our season finale Tuesday. I had a 2-hour season finale. It's to my understanding that Scream Queens, like American Horror Story, is gonna be an anthology if they decide to continue it. So next season will not be on the set of this college with the sorority being killed off. So we did have a season finale, which is the finale of this story. I think it kind of flopped. I think it started off really strong. And then they kind of just started playing out the same tricks and the same jokes to the point. It's just, I don't know. It started off really good. Like, I was so into this show when it first started. I was really digging it. The ending, it was just absolutely predictable. I was not surprised by one bit of it, like watching it. Pretty much the whole season finale, it was 2 hours. The first hour, it's kind of like a normal episode where they kind of close up everything, and then the last hour is more, it's a whole lot of voiceovers where you're just seeing where everybody is. It's like a couple months later and you see where everybody is, pretty much. So close your ears now if you haven't seen the season finale and you plan to. I don't think you're gonna be shocked, but Hester is the we had a couple of Red Devil killers. Hester is the last one to be discovered. Like, we know it was Boone. We discover Pete was involved, and then Hester, which is Leah Michelle's character. Not surprised in the least. That whole thing with like how she did it and her plans and all that, I was just like, it's not surprising. Completely predictable. Completely. Yeah. I think the whole thing was just pretty boring. It was boring. I was like doing other stuff while I was watching it too, like, cause I was like, I just don't want to sit here and watch it, the whole thing. Like, that's all I gotta say about it. It was predictable. Maybe if they decide to continue it, maybe they'll kind of learn from this first season, and it started off really, really well. It just kind of went downhill from there. So I think the loser this month is definitely Scream Queens. I think they started off so strong, and yeah, I guess we're answering the question again from Scream, the television series. You can't make a slasher into a television show. I just don't think it's working. I don't think it works. Yeah. The winner, I'm going with The Walking Dead this month, mostly because of Glenn, also because of that cliffhanger. That was really good. And the whole thing with, we got Carol versus Morgan, now that it has been discovered that Morgan was harboring a wolf in his basement, pretty much, like an injured wolf. Like, fucking Morgan. Best moment, or my favorite moment, actually goes to Scream Queens. There's this whole sequence where the sorority sisters of Kappa Kappa Tau are trying to kill Dean Munch because they believe she is one of the Red Devil killers. Dean Munch is Jamie Lee Curtis's character. And it's just like a whole kind of silly sequence where Dean Munch is just like unkillable. Like, they put her in this like freezing chamber thing. It's supposed to be a spa thing, and they turn it all the way down. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a really silly sequence, and I enjoyed that. It was like a little like bright light in the in the show. I enjoyed that. Good job on that one. I added in best character because I'm so enjoying Pablo's character in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Best sidekick ever. Seriously. So funny. And then I had to add in best what the fuck. I really didn't have one, and then I watched the most recent episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Like, that was the last thing I needed to watch before I filmed this, and I watched it like this morning. That little kid! They're in a diner, and like they kind of like set up this little kid. He's like going to the bathroom, and there's like a fight in there, and then the Deadites attack, and in the midst of the battle, the kid like runs out of the bathroom, runs in between Ash and a Deadite, and the Deadite like picks him up and throws him into a fan. Oh my god! And he gets like impaled on the fan. It's like on the ceiling. I was just not expecting that. I didn't expect that to happen. I don't know why I didn't expect that to happen though, because this is based off Evil Dead. I guess just like, I don't know. It's just because it was a child. Not like, he's like, yeah, it was pretty much a child. Like, I just wasn't expecting it. That's where we're at. Oh my god, I'm yawning. Sorry. That's where we're at so far on our television shows. Hopefully this video uploads. We'll see, this Wednesday video. Hopefully this one uploads. If we're having issues now, I don't know how this one is gonna go. So you might have 2 videos to watch today, one of them being a Weird Wednesday video. If not, this Weird Wednesday video will just be for next week, if it's just gonna be this much of an a-hole. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my face and hear more of my voice. And thank you if you are subscribed already, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.